our special look back at OPEC in its first 50 years, a stop in Geneva makes sense. After all, it was a favorite venue for OPEC ministers during the 1970s and 80s. No doubt the most famous personality during that time was the Saudi oil minister, Sheikh Zaki Yamani. He served in that post between 1962 and 1986. At one point, he was even kidnapped by Carlos the Jackal. We sat down for an exclusive interview at one of his homes just outside Geneva. 1973, the Arab oil embargo. You were a key player during that process. The former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger said it was political blackmail what Saudi Arabia and OPEC was doing to the world. In retrospect, how did you see it?
Well, that's a very long story. And the reaction of America for what happened is not a one reaction. They decided to raise the price of oil for 100%. They needed to help the oil companies to invest outside OPEC, in Mexico, in the North Sea, and so on. And this will not happen without a high price of oil. And this is how they deprived OPEC from their strategical power. The Arab oil was meant, and I was behind it, not to hurt the economy, just to attract the international public opinion that there is a problem between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Money is very attractive. Members in OPEC, they love money and revenue. And this is why they pushed the price up as quickly as possible, and they paid the price for what they did.
Do you regret the actions then in 1973 for purposes of clarity?
No, I don't regret that.
It was the right thing to do.
I regret what OPEC did. You cannot really manage the price. It was a mismanagement of price, a mismanagement of power.
How has OPEC changed most recently in the last decade, would you say?
So much depends on politics. If you look at what happened in the increase of the price of oil, it's either a political decision or a political event. What is prevailing now is not really a good pricing system. It involves those who like to speculate and make money. So it's not the supply-demand as it should be.
So you're suggesting that this range of around $80 a barrel is artificial today?
It does not represent the exact situation. It represents the speculation of what we call them the non-commercial. It's the hedge funds, the insurance companies, anyone who wants to make quick money, but he will lose money as well.
I remember 30 years ago, you were very concerned that the high oil price would lead the G7 nations to seek alternative energy. The predictions are that about 30% of global demand and supply will come from alternative energy by the year 2030. Is that where we're going?
Alternative sources of energy are in the horizon, and the climate change is an incentive. So the problem is gasoline. Transportation is one sector for energy, and then electricity. Most of the alternative sources of energy is now for electricity. What they are doing for gasoline is only to reduce the consumption. But until they can use hydrogen, gasoline is a must, and oil is a must.
OPEC stands by this number of 1.2 trillion barrels of reserves. As you know, many outside of OPEC don't agree with that total. They think that perhaps Iran and Iraq are inflating their numbers. What should we believe?
I don't take it seriously, really. We have to make a study by some people outside the country you mentioned.
So an independent study should be done of the OPEC reserves?
I think so. I don't know whether they exaggerated or they did not. I need a neutral one.
Once again, Sheikh Zaki Yamani, who, by the way, was, shall we say, influential in moving OPEC to Vienna. He's an avid opera fan. And that's all for this special edition of CNN Marketplace Middle East, this week from Vienna and Geneva. I'm John Defterios. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.